Hi, thanks for slipping some time with me today. In this video, we're going to do some fine little touches on this 1990 Eagle Talon. For those that haven't seen the past episodes on this series, and there's a few videos to get this thing going. This was a barn find. It hadn't been ran in over a decade, and there was a lot of work to getting it running, to get it all healthy and to a really good condition. It needs a little facelift, obviously, cosmetically, but we got it to where it needs to be as far as driving it. And I honestly would drive this anywhere now that it's all done. But there's some finishing touches to do. And basically, I've got some tips and tricks kind of in that of some of you that have these cars or similar cars on some problems that happen with them and some easy fixes that you can do. And I kind of left them for near the end of what we're doing here. Essentially, this is called stage 0, getting it where it needs to be so everything functions, everything works properly. It's not going to break anymore, or it's not going to leak, and now it's whether we want to do it. Chances are this is going to be just a stock restoration, which is kind of cool. But for those of you that want to modify cars, you had to do all this basically, all I did in the previous episodes and some of this as well, I think, just to get it to that baseline where you need to get it basically to get going. So basically, it's going to be some simple things that you can do. I won't reveal all of them right now. There's going to be some surprises as we go along. One of them involves a mouse, by the way. But some of these things are, the rear defrost doesn't work. There's a reason for that, and you'll see why and how to fix that. Speaking of where the rear defrost is, the hatch itself, the release in there isn't working too well. How do we fix that? We're going to get to that. I've got one little oil leak that came up, which is really good for how long this was sitting. It had no leaks actually when I got it, but I think just you heat cycles and getting it running after a while, something showed up. So we're going to fix that as well. We've got a parking brake adjustment, and there's a few other little things you're going to want to see. So stay tuned for that. And let's just get going, and we're going to go through them. I thought of maybe doing a bunch of shorts for these because they are short. Well, they're longer than a minute, but basically I thought of doing a series of smaller, shorter videos. But why not plunk it all together, and then you can pick and choose what to get out of it and just watch it and be entertained by it and maybe learn something as well. So let's get to it all right now. A little tip, see that oil coming here? These cars are notorious for the gasket on this oil cap, fill cap, to leak. And this slants down so it fills up this little void. It'll get in your spark plug holes. It can seep in a little bit. So the easy way to stop that is you can actually buy the gasket for that. That's the part number. And to show you what it looks like. So basically that gasket is that gasket. Just change it out and you won't leak there anymore. And this is so brittle, this one, it basically cracks when I take it out. Look at the crack there. It's as hard as a rock basically compared to a nice flexible rubber one. So here's the new one, all malleable, nice and fresh. Where this one is very brittle, and it cracks like that. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and I got a little friend over here. So, you happy to see me? How are you? Oh my goodness, okay. That's a little shop dog right there. He's a little cute guy. He joins me once in a while anyway, but he's wondering what I was doing in here. Anyway. He wants some of this cookie, actually. We'll give him a little bit. Can you catch? Catch? There. Good as new. Something I noticed when I was driving or heard was this little heat shield that's tied to the stock muffler. Unless, of course, you like this noise when you're driving. I certainly don't. Honda guys seem to like it. So it's fixed now, for now. Anyway, if we restore this muffler, we'll maybe tack weld it back in instead of doing what I just did. But for now, this will work just fine. There's no way it can move anymore. Sound, annoying sound, eliminated. So something I noticed is this emergency brake or parking brake. I've been through all the names this is called actually a bit over the world. But anyway, you guys know what it is. So it's it needs to be pulled back really far to even try to catch. So it needs some adjustment, which is not surprising because the cables stretch after time. You don't have to take this whole console out. You basically just need to take this little carpet that's out of here, and you can see the little adjusting nut down in. Try to hold the light here. Right there is the adjusting nut. You can actually, when it's loose, adjust it by hand or by fingers. You can't see it because my fingers are in the way or my hand's in the way, but you can just tighten that in, and as I do it, this will tighten up, and I'll show you how that works. Also, something I found in here, right there, was this guy, and the end of this, it's basically okay, it's basically a car adapter for, I think it's a Palm Pilot. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure because it's been so long since I've had one, but that definitely isn't modern times. It's not USB, that's for sure. So just more evidence of how long this car has been sitting with nobody driving it. Anyway, nice little find there. So I'll get that adjusted now. And just for an example, this is how much it goes back when you adjust it. When you pull it back, it kind of goes right up, and that was hardly any effort to get it up that far. So let's do that adjustment like I said. Now we adjusted it, and it I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it's definitely a lot tighter. Also, the other thing is that how I noticed it first is I put the emergency brake on and I could still turn the tires, which I can't right now. And that's one way. Now make sure you don't just tighten that nut. Don't try to make it tight with too tight. Basically, you need some slack in it when it's down, and then it's taut when it's basically put the brakes on. So yeah, that's how you adjust it. Pretty simple. So the rear defrost has an issue. This actually came off of there, which is the conductor basically to close the circuit for the lines from left to right or right to left. And it plugs into this connector. So we got to try and get that back in there. First thing is just to clean this up. So I cleaned this up with the wire wheel, and then I cleaned this up right there with a brass brush. Had to take this off so I could get in there a little better. Peeled that back. To fix this, I've decided I'm going to go this route. It's the best thing to do. If you solder to the window, can be done, but you run the risk of actually, because the heat you're going to apply here, and then there's some cold here, the difference in temperature stresses the window, and you could technically crack or shatter this glass. And this glass is not replaceable. I don't even think you can buy this glass anymore, so you need to find used stuff. You just don't want to do that. So we got this kit, which is supposed to work pretty good. It'll actually repair the lines as well if you need repair. That isn't the case here. We just need to get that connector on, and I'll show you what's in the kit for that. So before I actually fix this and put that up there, I'm going to make sure that power is actually going to the leads when I do the switch up in front to the connectors here that go to the defrost lines on left and right connectors here. So basically got connected to there, and there's my meter reading 0. So we're going to go in, and you have to start the car actually to run it. Otherwise, this switch won't even go on. Start it up, put the switch on, and we have a look. Yeah, we got 14 volts, so we know that's working. We're good there. We have power there, so that helps out a lot. So another test I'm going to do is I'm flipping it over to the resistance ohm test, and going to test across the heater element or the grid elements, basically from left to right with the connectors. So I still got that one there, and then for this lead, following it down, I'll be going where I'm going to put that tab, We're just going to go through a connection here, make sure it's making contact, and yeah, you can see it's 0.8 ohms, which is about right. If I let it go, then it's there. Yeah, so we're good. That's working. So basically got to put that tab, this tab, back up there, and use this kit to do that. I'll show you how to do that. So instructions are pretty basic with this. Basically, we're going to take this alcohol pad, and I'm going to apply it to that and just wipe it off the spot right there, and where the tab's going to go. And on this guy, first I'm going to take this, and they supply 180 grit sandpaper here, right here. And even though I wire wheeled this off, I'm going to make it flat, a little flatter and rougher with this 180, and rub it on there. And after that, I'll take the alcohol and just clean that up and let that dry off. And then we're supposed to take this cleaner activator, and we apply it basically up on here where it is. Let it dry for 2 minutes. The activator is ready to go after 2 minutes and no longer than 15 minutes. So after that, we have to knead this guy to make it all equally brown, and then we cut it off, and it says only to apply 1 drop of it on here. Firmly press it up on here, right in there, for a minute, and just leave that for 24 hours, and then we do a test and see how if it worked out. That's it. Let's get to work. Yeah, I'm going to do this with 2 hands. I'm just showing you what you got to do. Okay, we got that sanded off and flat now on the tab. And we'll just wipe that off now. And wipe that guy off. So this is the activator. And we're not supposed to put any on the tab, just up on this area here. So let's do that. Okay, it says only to put 1 drop on here. We might cheat and do 2 drops, but that's what it says anyway. Let's try and do this. There we are. So I'm putting up there and I'm holding it firmly for 1 minute, it says. Hopefully it sticks. Let's see what happens. And it's stuck on there. I think we're going to be okay. I'm just going to make sure that we got conductivity again. We should have almost that 0 ohms when I touch it. Let's check it out. I don't want to disturb it, basically. And we do. I think it's fixed. But we're going to do it in 24 hours, and then we're going to see how it works out. But I think we're good. I think we're in a good place. Okay, we'll turn it on. And 14 volts. Measure across here. So, rear defrost is fixed. Got that one off the list. Check. I was pretty proud of this old girl not having any leaks at all. But since I've been running it around a little bit and running the engine and stuff, which is very common in these cars, but the turbo oil drain here to the oil pan is, you can see it dripping a little bit there. It really so leaks, so I need to fix that and get rid of that issue. Can't have leaks if everything else is not leaking. Something like that can be fixed easily. So basically just got to drain the oil a little bit and take that apart and put a gasket in and put some RTV in, and yeah, we'll be good as new. So the owner of this car asked me to clean up the wiring for the stereo and remove the alarm car starter, I think, as well. Yeah, it's been pretty sabotaged, I guess, as far as how it was installed. We got kind of a mess, and there's some stuff under there too. And anyway, I got a bit of work ahead of me here to work on this, but we'll get it back to the way it was on factory. Another little element of discovery here is, see this guy? Well, that's the daylight running lights that somebody cut so they wouldn't be on during the day or automatically. Yep, in Canada, we, as early as 1990, had legislation for daylight running lights, and somebody has connected them, but the owner wants this all factory, right? So he wants that put back, and we're going to put that back nice. Another thing that was missing, or cut, I should say, is this wire here, and it's disabling the warning indicator for seatbelt not on. Somebody disabled that, and he wants that put together too, so we'll get that fixed up. There, connectors are all back where they need to be, and we got them all tied up, soldered, and heat shrinked. And there was actually another one. This one, for some reason, was cut, and then they just bare wired, tied them together, and never soldered or anything else. So I fixed that as well, and that's the daylight running lights that are fixed now too. Yeah, so that's all done up. It looks a lot nicer under here. It looks stock now, which is what we wanted. So something I noticed, when you pull the lever to release the hatch, you really got to pull on this, and it's almost like it sometimes isn't going to work. So there is technically no actual adjustment, factory adjustment for that cable that gets stretched, but there's also something else that happens, and I'm going to show you that you can fix this problem, and it doesn't cost you anything. I'll start by just removing these guys here and peeling this back a bit, and I'll show you in there what you can do. So this little thing here, right there, is where the cable ties into. And I've already done it. I should have showed you what it looked like before, but basically it was down further in, this little tab here, and closer to the actual release here. So what I did is I took a pair of pliers, and essentially I took it and I bent it up, and I also took a screwdriver and pried it back. So what that did was this basically make it a little longer in here, and I think, I mean, this is more pronounced because the cable is stretched, but I think this also does over fatigue start to settle in a little bit too, and you're just bringing it back to normal, and I've got a little more pronounced, and probably from factory just because the cable is stretched, but it basically made it a little longer in here, or pulled it out more, so the cable is kind of adjusted, just like doing an adjustment. So it works well, and I'll just show you now how well this works. Back to normal here. So before I had to really pull this all the way up, and then I had to actually give it a little jolt to release it, but now look at it. Works normal. Yeah, so that's fixed now. So in there, I think there was some mice in the heater ducts, because when I turn the blower on, listen. Yeah, so you see all that stuff flying around? That's definitely some mouse house stuff going on, so we're going to take that apart and remove that. And what you don't smell is the smell. Definitely some issues going on there, so we're going to clean that out too. That, folks, is a mouse house and a heater fan. Yep. So let's clean that out so we get some actually fresh air coming through, not mouse air. Yeah, it's all cleaned up. I also cleaned up in the evaporator here for the air conditioner. Took that off and cleaned that out. It was full of stuff too, and fan's working fine now. All right. Might smell a bit till that smell's gone, but it'll dissipate eventually. So there you go. This car now is, I keep saying this in previous videos, but we are so close to giving it to the owner as he wants it. Basically, all there is there's going to be something that some of you have asked for. I'm going to do an entire video on that. And some of you probably don't even know there are bulbs in it, but the switches basically in the dash, the lights or the bulbs burn out in all of these cars, very short order actually, and how you can fix those and how you can do it yourself and very cheaply. So that's going to come up. So if you want to catch that, make sure you subscribe and to catch any future stuff that's going on. Thank you so much for all of you that have tuned in already and watching this particular episode. And the support has been great. Love the comments. Please keep those coming as well. And I'll keep producing videos for you. So until the next one, enjoy your day and always make it right.